Righty, righty. Hey guys, it is Rick, and today is Friday. It is a fun day, Friday, and I missed you guys for a while, so I am back. Um, Today we are going over a topic that is near and dear to me because I have spent a lot of time on phones, and believe it or not, I like to listen in on the phones, everything that's going on. So we are going to talk about how to master the phones. And I don't care if you've done hundreds of deals or you've never done a deal, you have to learn how to master the phones because let's face it, if we're going to talk to sellers, the first point of contact 95% of the time is going to be on that telephone. So, this is a skill set that everybody can always work on polishing. And you are never too polished to learn something new on the phones. Because I tell you, man, in 20 years and to this date, I always pick up like a new little tricks to help the success rate go up. So I'm going to be honest in the beginning. Honestly, if I could just answer the phone, I was golden. And honestly, in the beginning, it's just getting on that phone and making those phone calls and talking to sellers. But as you progress, and everybody will progress that's tuning in here, you want to get better each and every day. And the idea is just get a little bit better, get 1% better each day. But the more time you spend on the phone, and if you're wholesaling, you will spend a ton of time on the phone. Let's face it, it is the easiest way to get in contact with sellers. So, guys, do not ignore today's live. It is all about the phones. So, just like we normally do, we are going to do about 20 minutes, and I'm going to walk you through the most important parts of understanding the phones and how to progress your skill set to it. And then we are just going to take lives. And if you've never done a live with me, it is pinned in the upper right-hand corner of the comment section. If you get on there, it's first come, first serve. It's already stacked up, so that's really cool. And keep in mind, I'm always live on Mondays as well at 8 p.m. Eastern time, especially for people a little bit more on the West Coast. So, guys, I missed you, and I'm back here. I was tied up the other day. I was in a meeting, but Zach did a great job, and you guys enjoyed with him. So, but guys, the biggest thing you've got to understand on the phones, and I'm telling you right now, is you have to have just an insane like energy level. So remember, whatever you lack in experience, you can easily make up enthusiasm. I can't tell you how many deals I did in my first few years just because I had a really positive attitude and I wanted to help people. And I didn't know everything, and that's okay. But there are people that told me, Rick, I just like the way you treat me. You've been upfront, you've been honest with me, and you're really enthusiastic. I want to give you a shot. And all you need is one person to do that with you, just one. But remember, they can't see you. Now, maybe we'll progress to do FaceTimes and Zoom calls and stuff like that. For the most part, people are not going to see you on the phone. So you got to get your energy level. I can't think of a better way to start the energy level than with this video right here. Let's go.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and get the guy go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
So listen, if you can take that same energy level and translate it over the phone, you are off to a great start in wholesaling. So guys, remember, they cannot see you. And if they cannot see you, if you're having a bad day or anything like that, it's going to come out on the phone. So the first thing you need to do before you do anything on the phone is you've got to fix your attitude. So I'm going to go through about a 20-minute presentation. I want you guys to use the comments, introduce yourself, let us know what market you're in, And if you want to jump on a live, just click the link for the lives. It's pinned in the comments section. If you're on Facebook, as long as you join and subscribe to our Facebook group, it is pinned there as well. And you can get on the live. And remember, we talk all about wholesaling. So without further ado, let's get in. Let's talk about how to master the phones. And I can't think of a better topic to talk about than this. So let's get into it. So the first thing on the phones, guys, is you got to answer your phones live. So if you're doing outbound calls and somebody calls you back, or say you're doing direct mail and you put a phone number on the bottom, guys, you have got to answer the phones. I will let you in a little secret. One of the reasons why my company dominates my local area in wholesaling is because we're one of the few people that actually answer our phones live. And I will tell you, for the longest time, I was taught to let it go to voicemail and filter out all the haters, and all the tire kickers on there. That worked in the beginning. Then we go fast forward, even back 2013, 14, 15, I was the only company that would answer the phone live. You know why? It was much easier to get them on the first phone call. I didn't have to play phone tag. And keep in mind, once they got a hold of me or my company, that's it. We circle the wagons. We make sure they don't call anyone else, and it is over. If you talk to the average seller that calls on an outbound piece of mail or any type of solution you do, let it be reverse wholesaling or a sticker, they will deal with the person that treats them the nicest and answers the phone first. If you give them 10 like postcards, less than 10% of the people answer the phone, because the honest with you guys, a lot of you guys are taught the wrong way. You're taught like just let it go and cycle. Honestly, find someone to answer the phone. If you're working a job, have your wife answer the phone, have your sister answer the phone, get a business partner. I'm telling you, answering the phone is a game changer in wholesaling. It will separate you from most of the competition. Most wholesalers do not answer the phone. And for this reason alone, they are missing out on the business. Think about it. You spend all that money on leads. You skip trace all these lists, everything. You leave a message and they call you back and they get an answering machine. You got to understand, a lot of sellers, they have to build up so much energy just to call you. Like it takes a lot of momentum and it takes a lot of guts for them to call you. And when they leave a voicemail, it's like they might change their mind. I can't tell you how many motivated sellers have called me, my company, even when I did in the beginning. And honestly, if they didn't hear me connect with them, they probably just would have gave up. They might have gone to a realtor or they'll probably go to another wholesaler. Guys, answer your phones live is a phenomenal difference. Okay. Number 2, by God, just be yourself and be personable. Okay. Stop being a robot. Stop telling them like your big corporation. If you have to tell them your home buyer solutions, but listen, hey, I'm Rick Ginn with Treasure Coast Home Buyer Solution, whatever your company name is, and just make it personable. Okay. People relate with you when you're personable. Think about it. How many times you call a business and they put you on some sort of international phone call, they transfer you 3 times and the person just butchers your name. You just get tired of it. It's not personable. It's very business-like. So the more personal you make it, just like being their friend, connecting with them, building that rapport, it will go a long way. Guys, you've got to be personable, and I want you to be yourselves. A lot of this stuff's common sense, I know, but you'd be surprised how many people overlook this stuff. Number 3, remember, they can't see you. I got my specs on today. Sorry about it. I'm actually blind without them. I usually wear contacts, but I thought I'd change it up today. So they can't see you over the phone, okay? I know, I know some of you do FaceTime and Zoom, but for the most of you guys are doing the phone. So your tone, your speed, and your enthusiasm is what they are initially judging you on, especially in the first 30 seconds. So make sure your tone is clear and crisp. Make sure your speed matches their speed, and make sure your enthusiasm just boils through that phone. You only get one shot at a first impression on a phone. Because they can't see you, they're going to rate you on tone, speed, and enthusiasm. Case closed. If you screw these 3 up, they're probably going to judge you instantly, and you're not going to get far with them. Okay? This is one of my favorite sayings, and I'll say this till the day I die, is you need to turn your scripts in the conversation. I'm fine with you having a script. I even provide you a script at freewholesaling.com. And by the way, if you guys are new to this channel, make sure you go over to freewholesaling.com. We teach you step by step how to get started in this business, make your first 100 grand. In there, we do provide a script on how to talk to sellers. But remember, a script are nothing more than bullet points. Okay. So when you have a script and you're asking them questions, turn it into a conversation. So many wholesalers try to memorize their scripts in like perfect order. And what happens when you memorize something in perfect order? What happens when the seller answers a question that's not in the order of your script? It rattles you. So the key thing is understanding your bullet points on your script. So if you have 5 points on your script and you're going through point 1, point 2, point 3, and then they jump to point 5, a lot of you will ignore point 4. You forget to ask it. Okay. So you have to learn your scripts inside and out. It's not good enough just to memorize them, and you need to turn them into a conversation. Let me give you an example. If I'm talking with a seller and I ask them about the condition of the property, and they jump out right away, hey, Mr. Rick, I need to know the price you're going to offer. Okay. I'm simply going to take control of that conversation and say, listen, I need to ask you some questions to find out more about your property, Mr. Seller. Are you okay if I continue asking questions? And I promise you we'll get to the price. I guarantee you I will. But I can't give you the best price without getting some more information from you. So okay if I ask these questions, okay? That's turning a script into a conversation. I can tell when someone has a script in front of me because when they get rattled, they're trying to fumble through the script, and they're trying to find out how to ask the right question out of sequence. So guys, if you have a script, and I almost guarantee everybody on this call has a script, practice turning it into a conversation. The best way to do that is learn the script thoroughly, meaning understand all the points backwards, forwards, in the middle. So when you get questioned on it and it goes out of order, you can easily make sure if you have 5 points on your script, you get all 5 questions answered. There's nothing worse than going through a script in systematic order and somebody changes it for you and like you fall apart. Guys, I've been there. I've done this. I'm telling you, if you will learn your scripts inside and out, then you turn them into conversations. That's what's called mastering your phones and massively stepping up your game. That's a big one. Okay. I'm going to beat this to death, and I promise you, you're going to hear this on every live stream I do. You must seek motivation first. The reason for this is I have never gotten a good wholesale deal without some sort of motivation. Okay. Just to let you know, price is not a motivation. Everybody wants a good price. So it's not a motivation. Price is an asking. It's not a motivation. So the more you have motivation, the better the deal is going to be. If you spend the first part of your conversation qualifying them for motivation, you'll go much further in wholesaling. So many of you guys spend hours on comping and figuring out who your cash buyer is going to be. Honestly, if your seller does not have motivation, you need to move on and find a seller that has high motivation. Otherwise, you will not make it in wholesaling. If you do this in reverse order, you definitely won't make it in wholesaling. Guys, motivation is first. It's got to be one of your early types of questions. And I'm going to teach you in this slide presentation on how to master the phones, on how to qualify all sellers for motivation. Okay. Now here's a great secret, but it should be common sense 101. And most courses do not teach it. It simply is use the seller's name and use it as often as possible. Let me give you a little example. If I use your name, it usually rings a bell in your ear. So Aries, Josh, Jefferson, Steve, Jonathan, when I say your name, I guarantee your heads turn around. Revan, Mia, Jennifer, George, everybody's on this live, Beth. When I use your name, I promised you it got your attention, right? So if it got your attention, use the name multiple times throughout the conversation. Guys, it works on children very well. You ever notice when you're talking to your children or you're talking to a child, if you say, hey, Johnny, I need you to do this. And Johnny, when you're done with that, I need you to go over there. Johnny, I need you to nod your head so I know you understand what I'm saying to you. That is the essence of using someone's names. It is like a dog tag to your nervous system. When someone calls your name, your head snaps. You don't have a choice. You absolutely, right, Jennifer? See, you're not like people use names. I'm just telling you, if you want to find out if your seller is paying attention to you, use their name and use it often as you possibly can. Most people in real estate don't use this little trick, and it works really well. Ask my wife. She calls my name out. I run. It just works. Use people's name and use it often. And another little tip on names, if you do not know how to pronounce the person's name, just ask them. I rather ask than butcher someone's name because I think people respect when you ask on it. So use the seller's name. Okay. So we talked earlier about seeking motivation. How do we seek motivation? We have to ask the 4 qualifying questions. Okay. And so we're going to make this a little interactive in there. I put up, I covered it up. I put up the acronyms MCTP. I want you guys to put in the comments what each one stands for. And I just want to find out if you're paying attention. So what's M for? Somebody type that in the comments. We'll put it in there. I've already talked about it in the slide presentation, so it should be an easy one for you. Okay. You have to do this first. If you don't do this first, you're wasting your time. I want you to understand the 4 qualifying questions that we teach are in order. So Benji's got it perfectly right. So does Chadrick. Oh, okay. Well, Benji spelled the whole thing out. He's kind of motivation, condition, timeline, and price. And honestly, in the perfect world, this is the perfect order you ask to do your motivation questions. So, it's so funny. Somebody's ticked off giving me a mad face in here. I think it's just so funny. Maybe they're just not asking the right question. So motivation, why? We need to seek out the motivation, and simply by saying, hey, listen, Mr. Seller, why are you looking to sell this property? Okay. Simple as that. The next one's condition. We're going to ask the condition of the property. This will help match up the motivation. Why we ask timeline? Honestly, we want to see if they made a decision when they want to sell by, because if someone hasn't made a decision where they're going to move and relocate to on how many days, like, are you moving at the end of the month? If they say, I haven't made that decision yet, they're probably not that motivated to make a decision while you're on the phone with them. And the last one is price. You guys get into it. Price is not a motivation. I always go into price is, what do you need to get out of this property? I never ask what you need. I never ask what your selling price is, because that's always a wish list. Unfortunately, realtors created this artificial world on how we do the properties and play this poker game. List it way above price and just get someone close to it, and the realtor looks like a hero. I'm not faulting them for it, but that's the system that we have to play in. So motivation, condition, timeline, and price. Awesome job, Benji. Guys, just so MCTP, if you just remember that acronym, you can work that into your qualifying questions so you can turn your scripts into conversations. So like this, if I ask them the motivation and they want to tell me they want to sell the house in the next 90 days, seller, that's great. Tell me why you're looking to sell the house in 90 days. I pivoted from timeline back to motivation, and then I'll go into condition, and then I'll see what they need to get from the property. Why I do that? It turns the script into a conversation. We cannot be robots. Guys, you have to be professionals and learn how to do this. In the beginning, honestly, I just want to get you on the phones, because sometimes you have to be mechanical. But as you progress, each month you get through it, actually each week, you need to get better and better on the phones. Okay, we're getting through there. We're almost done. Okay. This is a big one. Don't be an order taker. Maintain control of the conversation. And what do I mean by that? Is so many times when we're having a conversation with a seller, is you're always going to get people that run you over. Guys, it's going to go on forever. It will never stop. This is how Sales 101 works with dealing with wholesaling. Now, keep in mind, I don't think you're even really selling. You're more of disqualifying people. But when we're qualifying it, you're going to have people run you over. So when I say, hey, Mr. Seller, can you tell me about, tell me what's going on with the house? Why would you want to sell it? Can you tell me about the current state of the house, that's condition? And they'll go like this: Rick, just get to the price. I don't have time for this. You immediately have to grab that seller by the collar nicely and say, hey, listen, Mr. Seller, if I could just ask some basic questions about the house and allow me to get the best offer for you so I can structure an offer to see if you even qualify. Do you mind if I ask some questions? Okay. If you don't do that, you are nothing more and listen, I'm not knocking anybody who does fast food, but you're at McDonald's, you're asking for a number one, a number two, a three, or four. Okay. That doesn't work in wholesaling. Guys, there's no click here and get your price. Okay. You have to grab them. And honestly, if they won't give you that permission, odds are motivation is going to be terrible. And as Jonathan says here, no motivation, move on. They saved you the time. Okay. The reason why we want to get right into the qualifying questions is because I don't want to sell to someone that has no motivation. So here's another little trick. So when I go through motivation and I'm talking to them and they go on and they tell me how perfect this house is. Perfect white picket fence. I just painted it a pastel. We just did the gutters. They're brand new. And they go on and they keep throwing up. And you guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Here's what I do. I stop them. Oh, hey, John, dude, sounds like your house is perfect. Why are you even considering selling it? And I shut up. Keep in mind, if they reached out and called you or you called them and they're going on about the house, there's could be motivation. They're just hiding behind their ego. You guys know how I feel about egos is you have to lose your ego as a wholesaler. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't lose their ego until they get to know you and they learn to trust you. So don't write them off when they start bragging. Just stop them. Just do the takeaway right away. Okay. Maybe I'm just not this. Maybe why would you sell this property? It's so perfect. You should get top dollar for it. Why don't you go ahead and list it? You know, why don't you just go ahead and sell it for top dollar? Just sell it on your own. There's a reason typically they're not doing that and they're talking to you. Now, every now and then there are time wasters, but it is what it is. So, okay. We are almost done, I promise here. And this goes right into, I kind of overtalked this slide. Do not over pursue your sellers. This is a big tip you have to understand on the phones. I want you to be enthusiastic. Like God knows, I want you to be enthusiastic about wholesaling, but your enthusiasm has to be about helping. Do not let your enthusiasm ramp up when you come to the price section. Okay. You actually have to be wanting them to chase you, not you chasing them, even though you want the deal bad. Okay. This is why I constantly want you to be working on multiple motivated sellers. You never rely on one because they'll break your heart. It's like the girlfriend you had in high school. They're going to take it away from you. So when you get excited and you get to the price down, you have to have some reservation and a little bit of pullback. Okay. If you're too eager when it comes to price, remember, they're going to take that as a cue, like, Rick can pay me more. And I want you to understand that that's not what you want to get across to them. Okay. You want to help them. I get it. But honestly, a lot of you guys, when you're starting out with your first deal, I know I did, you chase them too hard and it's going to cost you. Okay. Slow down, be enthusiastic about helping them. But when it comes to price, just say, listen, let me see if it's going to work. Try to get their numbers and set up an appointment, and do not get over eager. Now, when it comes to your appointment, you don't want to get over eager about the appointment either. Say, listen, I think I have an opening tomorrow at 2:00. Let me know if that's open. I got a couple other houses we're looking at in the area. Maybe you're just doing driving for dollars. I don't want you to lie for people. So go out and do driving for dollars and then go by and look at their house. But if you are too over eager on your first deal, it makes sellers nervous. Okay. You have got to act like you've bought 1,000 houses before. I'm not talking about lying, but you just have to personify that you could live without this deal. And if you do that, you will truly get a good deal. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about like being insulting or anything like that, but there has to be pullback. Your natural intuition is to attack, go after it, whatever you have to get. But remember, if you don't get a good deal, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help your family out. And it's certainly not going to make you a better wholesaler. This is opposite to what you feel. Welcome to wholesaling. Once you understand these nuances, you will get it. I promise you, this will help you out tremendously. Okay. By God, when you're on the phone, I can't tell you how many times I did this at the beginning. Sometimes you get so excited, you forget to ask for the appointment. Okay. I want you to understand, guys, when you're on the phone, you only get like when you have a motivated seller on the phone and you find motivation, get as much information from that seller as you humanly possibly can. You know why? Because a lot of times when they get off the phone, they're hard to get a hold of. They are really, really, really hard to get a hold of, and you'll play phone tag. So get their email, get their phone number, get a backup phone number, find out their schedule, get everything you humanly possibly can. And for God's sakes, ask for the appointment. Okay. So many guys, if there is motivation, set the appointment and do it. Don't be overeager about it. Just be excited to help them out. But you have to ask for the motivation. I think I got one more on here. Okay. This is seriously important. You got to understand this. Okay. Make sure when you make any phone call in wholesaling, your goal is to get a result. Okay. My goal every time I would reach out on the phone or anybody on my staff reaches on the phone is to try to get an appointment or try to eliminate, disqualify the lead. Okay. So have a clear-cut goal. Now, you shouldn't be on the phone more than 15, 20 minutes with a motivated seller. Because if you talk too much, you get to the point where you gave them too much. And honestly, the intrigue of meeting with you is probably taken away. Okay. The only exception to that is going to be probates, because probates always need time. Okay. So probates are going to be the exception to this rule. But honestly, if you're on a phone call more than 15, 20 minutes, you're talking too much. Okay. I've been guilty of this. God knows the people I work with have been guilty of it. It's just, if you can't get your point across in 15, 20 minutes, you're probably doing something wrong, and you need to look and see if your script is turning into a conversation and you're getting that information. Okay. And remember, the order of your qualifying questions is, if you can't find motivation early, the phone call should be significantly shorter. That's just how it works, especially if you're doing cold calling. You don't have 15 minutes to talk to every deadbeat lead. If there's no motivation, just move on or put them on a follow-up list or whatever it needs to be. Okay, guys, motivation is the mother of all skills, and it's super important to seek that motivation and find it. If you do it in any other reverse order, it gets painful in wholesaling, because you'll go through hours and hours of work. You'll get in your car, you'll meet with people, and you'll just waste your time. And honestly, I do not want you doing that. So I want to share something with you here. I think this will drive it home. It's a little chart I made up, and this took me a while to figure it out. I always thought, I go, how can I show like a motivation chart? And you can put your own spin on this, but this is like my 20 years of wholesaling, and I want to show you what I came up with. Okay. So this is seller motivation here. So on the left is 0% discount all the way up to like, say, 40 or 50%. And if you guys want to come up with ideas to put on the slide, I would love to update it. But I'm telling you, if people are typically motivated by price, you're going to get between a 0 and a 5% reduction. Okay. That's it. Price is not a motivation, people. And you are going to pay the ultimate penalty before it. Because say you get a 5% just because you get a fast price, you're not going to get a good deal, and you're probably going to like have a bad contract. So hopefully you can get out of it, but you want to write many of those. We move on to the next one. My next favorite one is avoiding the realtor fees. And this is typically, is most people are looking to avoid that realtor fee. But if you go from 5% to the realtor a realtor is going to be anywhere from 3 to 6%. That gives you a 10% reduction. Guys, 10% is nothing, because if they list it with a realtor, the average cost for somebody to list it with a realtor and move on is going to be between 12 and 15%. Okay. So if we look at this, this is where the bend starts, right around that 15%. Okay. And what happens at 15%? That's probably a property that needs repairs and is not going to do well with a realtor, and it's a little bit tricky. Okay. This is where we start in wholesaling. Okay. From 10% and below, I don't even consider a wholesale deal. Honestly, it won't work. Now, the sweet spot is anywhere from 10% and up, because remember, you only got to make about a 10% adjustment to make this deal work. How do you make that work? You got to find out the motivation of the seller. Now, if I know it has repairs, then it's going to go up. Remember, repairs vary. They can be from 5 to 100 grand, depending on what house you're in, what market you're in. But now we're talking at 15%. This is typically where we started wholesaling. If we add on to that, you work up from 20 to 25%. If you add some sort of court pressing need, that's why we really push the government list, because if you have a foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, anything like that, it'll drive it up. And then we work up to like 35%. 35 to 40% is going to be a probate, or somebody has to sell immediately. Arrest records, serious trash out, evictions, stuff like this. And I guess once you understand this, remember, you are not playing in the wholesale world till you get around that 15% line. Okay. Because we have to have a discount to make these properties work. As the market's changing, these numbers are going to change. And when I started in this business, we didn't look at anything below 20, 25%. Okay. Times have changed a little bit. I get it. Okay. I've been through a lot of markets, and I'm going to update this chart. So if you guys have any ideas to add to this chart, send me a message, support@flipwithrick.com. I would love to hear from it. I think it's important, but it at least gives you kind of a visual graph of like, okay, here's discount. And honestly, the more you stack up these pain points, the higher the discount will be. Okay. I bought houses up to 80, 90% discount, like really messed up titles, crazy stuff, and attorneys involved. And I'm here to tell you, it's all true. So let me take this off. I am back on. So I see everybody in the lives here. Let me answer a couple questions. Okay. That's funny. I try not to ignore. I try to get everybody here. So somebody says, so you're 100% correct. I worked the phones for years. If you answer the phone live, it will get you the deal. Guys, understanding, if they have 10 postcards in their hand and they're through like 7 or 8 calls and you answer the phone live, they're so sick of everybody who leaves a message. It's a joke. Test this out. Call your local bandit signs. You people that put out bandit signs, and I love you for it because I love bandit signs, you have to answer the phones. I'm sorry. What's the point of printing the signs, spending all that money, going out and hopping out of your car, running out of there in traffic? You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's either hot or cold, in the middle of the night, early in the morning, and you do all that work and somebody calls and you let it go to voicemail, and then you play phone tag for the next 3 weeks. It would be much easier, more efficient if you just answer the phone. The technology today to have the phones forward to anywhere you are, or even to a backup. So if you use even like CallRail, I don't know if Vumber does this anymore. There's a bunch of other phone things. Whereas if the phone rings, like it'll go to my sales staff the first 4 rings, and then it will go to Zach for the next 3 rings, and then it goes to me next 3 rings. I tell my salespeople, if I get the ring, I get paid on the deal. I'll just take it down. And guess what? I get rings. Sometimes stuff happens. I get it. Like companies have to work together. But I'm telling you guys, you spend all this effort to get your phone out on business cards. You put out flyers. You put out sticky notes. For God's sakes, answer your phone, because your urgency is not there. The personal connection is just gone when it goes to an answering machine. I have people argue to me this blue. I'm just here to tell you, unless you're sending out hundreds of thousands of leads. You only get so many phone calls. You have one shot at making an impression. Answer your phones live. It makes a huge difference. Let's see. What else? So Teresa says, I'm finding sellers getting defensive when I ask their motivation right off the bat. So Teresa, if you want to jump on a live and we can talk about how you're bringing up motivation. So here's one tip. Don't use the word motivation because that word is code between us in our business. Okay. So an easy way to start off the conversation to find out the motivation is tell me a little bit about the house and what's going on. And then the idea is usually they'll start with the house and you want to convert the conversation to what's going on in them personally. So understand real estate is nothing more than a side effect of what people are going through in their lives. Okay. I'll give you an example. Say if I lose my job and I can't pay my mortgage, my problem is I lost my job. My symptom is I can't pay the mortgage and my house is probably going to go on foreclosure. And that's going to cause me to have high motivation. Okay. I need to get to the root of why you're getting a foreclosure. And that's what you need the seller to tell you. It's very bad when you tell them, I know your house is in foreclosure. You need to sell it to me. You can't say stuff like that. So I always start out, listen, tell me a little bit about what's going on in the house or what's going on with you. And let me see if I can help you out. And that's my motivation. That's my qualifying question. If you say the word, what's your motivation for selling the house? Sellers have figured out what the word motivation means. By the way, you know why? Because it's in every tagline and you see in Zillow. You see it in any type of FSBO. I see it on bandit signs. And for God's sakes, I definitely see it on realtors listening. Seller is motivated. Everybody knows these are words we're all keying on. So you have got to find a way to pull that motivation out. And hopefully that helps you, Teresa. If you want to hop on, I'll be happy to help you out with that. So, okay. Mariana, she says, thank you for this video. I got the whole process down. I just can't make myself make the calls. So here's a couple ways to look at it. Think about why you're even thinking about doing wholesaling, which you know where I'm going with this. It's your why. Okay. Think about this. Envision not making the phone calls and staying in the exact same place you are right now. If you're not happy, you don't like your job, you're not financially free, and you have absolutely zero freedom of your time. How is that going to look in a year from today? How about 2 years? How about 5 years? How about 10 years? I'll tell you a little story. Tony Robbins, if you guys have ever been to one of his UPW Unleash the Power seminars, he does an exercise where they regress you and they take you like your worst habit. Maybe it's drinking, maybe it's procrastination, maybe it's avoiding your family, and they make you go back in time and they show you where you came from before. And if it shows you what you're going to look like a year if you don't change it, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And guys, this comes about quickly. I'm 20 years in the wholesaling. I had the exact same problem Mariana had. Marina. I'm butchering your name probably. I apologize. But think about this. It's just like working out. Very few people I've ever talked to physically enjoy working out. Okay. So why do you work out? So you can be healthy and fit and look good and attract people that want to be like you, if that's what you want. Okay. I just do it for health and preservation and feeling good. I got to tell you, there's a lot of days I do not like working out. Honestly, I hate it sometimes. So when I'm sick, when I don't feel good, other than being sick, I know that I have to get through it because here's the key is, ready for this? Probably 33% of the time, I don't want to work out. Just don't want to do it. Why do I do it? I always focus at the end result on why I'm doing this. And every time I work out, I always feel better for it. But man, I hate getting up in the morning, getting dressed, going to the gym. Dude, if you relate to me, let me know in the comments. It can be painful. Okay. But here's a sidebar. If I don't do that, I know I'll eat a lot more. I won't make myself accountable for what I eat. and I'll gain more and more weight. And as I get older, I'm not a young chicken anymore. Things get harder. Okay. If you've ever had to take care of like elderly parents, you will understand this. Guys, you only get one body one time. I did some things that I shouldn't have done when I was younger, and I've worked on correcting them. Okay. Same thing, Mariana. If you're interested in wholesaling and you're committed to it and you know your why, is the reward outweighing your current situation? If it is, then you need to find the discipline to make it happen. And honestly, the anxiety of making the call is actually worse than the phone call. The anxiety of working out and getting sore muscles is worse than the physical workout. Once you get 5 minutes into it, you're like, okay, I'll be done in like 30, 40 minutes. It's the same thing with phone calls. So hopefully that'll help you out and that'll motivate you to do that. Let's see here. So David said, I had a guy bitch me out and say we're all look alike. The reality is just the tips I gave you in today's presentation on how to master the phones is so you don't sound alike. So just try to find a way not to sound alike. Be personable, answer your phones, inject enthusiasm, tone, the speed of your conversation, and qualify by using your script and turning it into conversations. Okay, I think we are up to date there. I appreciate it, Trevor. It is kind of a cheat code on phones. And the funny thing is, honestly, that's 20 years of tips I've shared, like of every failure I've made on the phone. Guys, I've lost so many deals over the years, but I've done enough deals where I've more than made up for it. So I appreciate it, Trevor. What's up, Colton? How you doing? Jonathan's correct on this. Throughout the script, focus on MCTP. So I'm going to get Zach to pump this out too. MCTP is just, it'll burn in your mind. So if you forget it, I love acronyms. I'm just an acronym type of guy. MCTP sounds like an auto parts store. I don't know, but it works. So burn it in your brain. So if I ask you today, you come on the live, I'm going to ask you what the 4 qualifying questions acronym is. MCTP. And if you burn it in your mind, it's just like, you don't have to go in exact order. Just make sure price is at the end. That's the only one that has to be in the end. And I've already given you the tips what to do when they attack you on price. Redirect the conversation, take control of it, and ask permission to ask more qualifying questions. So, guys, if you enjoy the content I'm sharing here, just do me a favor, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. And that helps more people view our feed so we can help out as many people as possible. And guys, if you're brand new here, go over to freewholesaling.com. We share a 25 years experience between me and Zach on how to get started in wholesaling. I don't care if you've never done a deal. And the best part is we teach you how to do it for free up to your first $100,000. Nobody else offers this much information out there. And if you want to benefit from this, from someone that's been in the business 20 years, I'm not going anywhere. I love this business. We're a family business. I do this with my son. My wife's involved. I love this business. And I want to help as many people as possible. I believe learning wholesaling should be like learning your ABCs. It shouldn't be confused with these outrageous prices. I'm getting messages of people being tricked, people being suckered. If you've fallen victim to anybody taking your money that had no idea how to do wholesaling, let me fix it. I can't get your money back, but honestly, you will get a lesson out of it. And me and Zach will teach you how to wholesaling. And this is life. And sometimes that's how you have to learn. You're not the first person that's burned and you won't be the last. And I want to help prevent that for you. So, okay, let's get, Malik offers good advice here. He says, just get over the first few calls. It's easy. Okay. Teresa, you hop on. I'll try to jump you on there. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So I appreciate you guys helping me answer questions in the comments. Let's see. I'm trying to answer them all so I can get to everyone. One more time. I got on late. So Pedro, if you hopped on late, the really cool thing is this is recorded. Just go over to the Flip with Rick YouTube channel and it'll be all on there for you. So let me jump on. I'm going to try to take everybody in order I got. I got Revon and I'll have Jennifer on after that. So I'll try to prepare you. So if you guys put yourselves on hold, you don't have to be on video. Honestly, I don't care. I just want to help you out. And so here's the key when we do the lives, okay? To get the most out of the lives, since me and Zach don't charge for this, is bring me things you need help with, something you need encouragement about. But if you come on here and just complain, I'll listen to you, but I don't fix complaining. I don't have a fix button for it. You're going to have to put in the work. And if you complain, I'm asking you really hard questions. And the purpose is not to single you out, it's to help you. So since I don't collect money from you guys personally, I have this gift of telling you the truth. And sometimes, you know how they say the truth hurts? It's here to help you. I am like that uncle you didn't have. I'm like that parent that's just going to tell you the truth. Think about if your parents were ever really hard on you, you hated it as a kid, but like when you got successful later in life, you go, man, I'm so glad they did that. I want you to understand that's how me and Zach treat you guys. And if you feel like we're being upfront with you, that's how coaching and mentoring should be, because so many times you guys pay these outrageous fees and they just baby you. So you won't return the product. You won't do a chargeback, anything like that. So we don't do that. So let's jump into it. Ravon, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing, man?
Good, good. How about you?
I'm fantastic. I'm alive today. I can't ask for anything more.
Oh, that's great.
So if you start with that, guys, life is just, it's just better because somebody didn't get that opportunity that me and Ravon, everybody else is getting today. So if you just like wake up with that attitude, you're good to go. So what's up?
So I think last time I talked to you about this, I was doing virtual wholesaling, and I finally like picked my market and all. I'm doing like so the question I have is about ARV. So like I know about the calculation like ARV minus repaired multiplied by 70% based on like wherever you're targeting. The question I have is I don't know how to like calculate ARV. Like I watch your videos about ARV about like comps, so like comparing properties and all, or asking a wholesale or not wholesale, asking a cash buyer how much you would pay for this property. I'm still kind of confused about the comps and that.
So you're not the only one. This is a very, very common question. Yeah. And let me give you two founding rules that will help you in wholesaling on this part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually give you three. Number one, make sure your seller has motivation. Otherwise, nothing works. Nothing works. The comping, ARV, none of it works. So that's rule number one. The second rule, comps. They are nothing more than a range. Okay. They are never set in stone. It's just how it is. I've never had a property go, that's the exact comp. There's 9 identical houses that sold within like a block of it, and that's the number. Okay. Comps are a range. So if you have the ability to throw out the high, throw out the low, and try to let the machine do the comp with you putting common sense into it, that's going to be your comp. If you spend more than 10 or 15 minutes just doing comps, it typically means you overpaid for the property and you're trying to manipulate the price to force the deal go through. Okay.
Okay. So like if I find, so I'm doing, like I said, I picked Detroit as my thing.
Yeah.
So if,
let me finish here. I'm going to give you rule number 3 and then I'm going to walk you through it. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
Number 3, your ultimate sales price will be dictated by who?
I'm not sure. What it ultimate sales? Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's your cash buyers.
Buyer.
Okay. So I'm giving you a little cheat sheet, especially if you're brand new here.
Yeah.
You are somewhat guessing in wholesaling.
Yeah.
But you're guessing based on odds and percentages. If I have comp range, say if the comp is from 150 to 162, that's where I kind of worked it out. Okay. And then your seller has motivation, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Then all you have to do, you ready for this?
Yeah.
You got to get the price low enough to make a spread from that 160 to like 165. And you have to make a calculated, educated guess. And I want you to hear me clearly. It is a guess. In the old days, we just used 70% because I just don't think we were very bright when we were doing wholesaling. We're much more advanced today.
Yeah.
Your odds of getting a deal 70% discount are low. I'm just here to tell you. And matter of fact, in the last 3 to 4 years, I'd say if you could get a property at a 15, 20% discount, you could make a bundle. Times are changing. Okay.
Okay.
But you can't, like a lot of people, oh, you got to buy 30, 40% discount. The market's falling off the cliff. The market's pulling back, but it's not falling off of a cliff. Okay.
Okay.
The way you find out where that sweet spot is, you put it under contract for the best price possible, and then you throw it out to your qualified cash buyers. So you're going to know quickly when you put that property out there, if your cash buyers start offering you like 175, 180, you know you have a home run. If they start offering you 150 to 140, you know you screwed up and you need to fix it as fast as possible. Okay?
Okay.
Cash buyers are smart. Do they want a good deal? Absolutely. Okay? But you're never going to get this perfect. And more people, when they start out wholesaling, is they use this as like, it just screws them up real bad. Okay?
Okay.
Where they mostly get screwed up is on repairs. Okay? And repairs, I'm going to be honest with you, dude, they're all over. They're even worse than comps. Okay? So you need to look at a house and you've got to guesstimate repairs. Number one, you take your seller's estimate and you can typically throw that out the window. Okay? Number two is you go look at the property or you have somebody look at the property for you. That's probably going to be the most accurate way to do it. Okay?
Okay.
And when you have to start redoing kitchens and bathrooms, it starts to add up. And if you throw in a roof, it will skew your numbers way off. So the biggest thing I look for is roof age when I'm looking at properties here in Florida. Okay?
Okay.
Roofs are a nightmare for us. So anything more than 15 years old, every seller is going to beat me up about the roof. The average roof, depending on the square footage, is 15 to 20 grand in Florida. Okay? So what you can do is you can develop a cheat list on how to do repairs. Some people already know it because they've done it. Honestly, there's enough tools online to help you estimate that stuff. If you're brand new to this, you haven't done it before, dude, send your sellers in. They'll tell you exactly what the repairs are and learn from it. It depends on the quality of house you're buying. The lower end houses, they're basic. And the old days, 6 months to a year ago, we used to do a rehab 10 to 15 grand. It doesn't even exist in our market anymore. 25 to 30 is the minimum.
Okay.
The numbers have changed with inflation and stuff like that. So do you understand what I'm kind of telling you? So the repairs, whatever you estimate your comp is, you just minus the repairs off because you should get a discount because someone's got to do the repairs and your seller agrees with it. This is why they're selling you the property.
Okay. So if I'm calling this house for like $50,000 and I found like a comp of another property, same square footage, same timeline, same 3-bed, 2-bed, and it's sold for $40K.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the ARV should be $40K, right?
Remember, they're just a range, right? So you've been in the houses. You walk into some house. The beauty is most properties between Zillow and Trulia and everything is you can look at pictures online and you can kind of get an idea of them. Okay. So what I'm saying is here, so let's go back to the previous example. Say the comps are 160 to 165 and say it needs 30 grand in rehab. Okay.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, I'm going to always go with the most conservative comp, 160, and I'm going to minus off 30 grand. And then I'm going to figure out whatever I can get for profit in there. Okay.
Okay.
The deeper the discount, the more chance you have of making profit. Okay.
The discount.
If you go through my coursework, I teach you how to go for the no on the first answer. You know why? Because the cheaper you get the house, the more options you have down the road. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes you don't have an option and they just squeeze you with a price and you have to make a decision if you want to take a risk with that or not. Just make sure you have a good long inspection clause and understand that you're probably going to have to renegotiate it if your gut feeling's telling you're paying too much. So on the ARV of 160 minus off 30 at 130, what offer are you going to make to that seller to have it make sense? And remember, your initial offer, you should get rejected. So what are you going to offer on that property? 30 grand, significant rehab.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you offer on that one? And don't do the 70% calculation. You can do simple math in your head. I've always said if you need a calculator to make an offer, you're paying too much for it.
Okay.
You're paying too much for it. So in that case, I would simply, here's a really easy one. Just offer them 100. They're probably going to beat you up anyways. Just go, listen, I don't know. What if I just offered you 100 grand? Would that work for a cash offer? I close quickly and just shut up. 9 times out of 10, they're going to come back and go, oh, I could never take that least. The least I could take is like 121. Okay. They might come back and say, I can't take anything less than 150. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, so in that example, if they take the lower price, if I get it at like 125, that's going to be too much because the ARV is 130 minus the repairs. If they take it at 105, 110, I can probably make that work and make a $10 to $15,000 assignment fee.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now here's the fun part about this. If the house is vacant and it's in rough shape and they will not bend, they say, listen, I won't take anything less than 125.
Yeah.
Go, listen, I'll put it under contract for 125, but I really got to kind of inspect this because it's tight. So you said the air conditioning works, but you walked in there and it's like 85 degrees in the middle of summer. You already know the AC is bad. Put it under contract, put under a 2-week or a 30-day inspection, and then go back in there, bring your cash buyer if you want, and you know the AC is bad. You can take off $5 or $6 grand right off the bat. And here's the worst part. If they don't go, listen, I checked it out. My guy looked at it, the AC is bad. I can't do that price. I need to get out of the contract, or I always say, just where can I send over the cancellation? They go, oh, wait, what do you mean? Remember, once they enter in a contract with you, sellers that make it difficult for me, I push back a little bit. Okay. I know I need to help them out, but like you said, the AC is good. He tried to turn it on. It doesn't blow cold. AC is a minimum of $5 grand. I need a $5,000 or $6,000 discount. And that's how I do it. Guys, honestly, if you're cash buyers, when you put it under contract in your first 48 hours, your cash buyers are going to tell you exactly what your deal's worth. And if you have reservations or you priced it wrong, either go back and get a price reduction or cancel your contract. It's that simple. I make mistakes to this day in my company. You will make mistakes. But as you go through time, you'll learn how to do this and you will get better and better at it. Stop sticking to the 70% rule. It doesn't work. 70% is like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
You buy something 70% less repairs, buy it. Or call me. I'll JV with you on it. Okay? Unfortunately, that rule will not get you to a lot of dances in wholesaling. It's just the truth. Okay. The reality is probably 75 to 80% are where most of the deals are coming in reality when it's said and done. And remember, when you enter a contract, that doesn't have to be your final number. If somebody gives you a great price up front, take it. But if they're playing games with you and tell you the roof's good and you know the roof's like 30 years old, put it under contract, tell them you're going to inspect the roof. And if the roof's not up to par, you'll have to talk to them about the price. That's it. It's a guaranteed that you'll get a reduction or you'll have to cancel the deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
70% doesn't, it worked in 2003. And I never taught my son that rule and I won't teach you that. The reality is whatever you can get under contract for, if you can sell it for more than that without killing yourself, do it. Most wholesalers just want to get an initial yes. They don't go for no, and they overpay for the properties and they spend days, if not weeks, trying to sell the property only to get out of the contract. And you don't want to do that.
Oh, okay. I see.
Does that make sense? The 70%, it's going to handcuff you, man. You can't do anything. That's like saying, hey, I'm going to play a football game. And if my star guy on the return team for kickoff doesn't return 4 touchdowns, if he returns 4 touchdowns, I'm going to win the game. Well, yeah, no duh. It does. So 70% is an old school rule and it doesn't work in today's. If you get 70%, just take it. Take it every time. Everybody watching this, 70% is a guaranteed you'll make money for the most part. Okay. But the reality is a lot of us are somewhere between 75 and like 83, 84% discounts. That's just the truth on it. How do I know if I'm going to make, I can tell you, I've had deals where I put under contract where the property's motivated, the seller was difficult. I put it under contract. I either got a discount or I got a cash buyer to pay more because I knew there was a lot of demand in that area. And that's it. So let your cash buyers be the final dictator,
Okay.
and you'll learn quick. But honestly, if you have reservations about a property and you know what they're telling you suspect, just
Yeah.
make a longer inspection period. It gives you more room to find out what the property's worth is, and it gives you the ability to get out of the deal or renegotiate it. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. For the inspection period, the cash buyers are the one that's supposed to inspect the property. Am I right?
It's up to you. I mean, yeah, I bet that's a whole nother conversation. Well, let's just start with the basics here, all
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So it depends if the property's vacant, if the homeowner's occupying the property. Because sometimes with sellers, you only get a few shots to show the property
Mm-hmm.
and you have to make a decision. When I only have a few shots to show the property, I'll typically bring my contractor, which is someone I do business with, which I give them other types of rehabs. I'm not a big rehabber. I only properties I
Yeah.
want to keep. And I have him go in. He goes, dude, the roof shot, the AC shot. He writes out on a list, gives me an estimate, and I just give it to the owner. I'm like, I got to get out of this contract. They're like, and they always say to me, well, what can we do? And then I go, well, we can sit here and discuss the offer price. I can't do that number. Or I tell you what, if you can put on a new roof, put on a new AC, I'll go ahead and move forward with that price. And they'll typically either get out of the contract with you or they'll try to negotiate with you. Either way, it's a win. That's how
Okay.
I look at it. Okay.
Okay. And I had another quick question. So today, I was calling this someone. His house for like was $50,000, and I went it down to $30,000 because you always say try to go for too low, and you always like make them so low so they could say no. And so I did for $30,000, and they said no because I kind of estimated. I didn't calculate it because I know that looking at the condition of the property, it has to be like below 50,000 for sure. So like I
Okay.
might contact him again and see like if 33 or $32,000 work for that house once I calculate it and all.
So, guys, the reason we ask you to go for the no is to get that painful conversation out of the front, because you
Mm-hmm.
got to find out if the motivation's good enough, they'll keep dropping their price, and it'll save you from all the aggravation of trying to sell this to cash buyers and they tell you you paid too much for it. It's going to
Okay.
save you the pain of coming on this live and saying, how do I sell my deal? I've tried everything. How many sellers did you call? Well, I've presented to 10 people and they all say overpaid for it. And I just say to you, you overpaid for it. You didn't ask for a
Okay.
low enough price in the beginning. The idea is not to be reckless with it. And in my free wholesaling course, the one me and Zach have, we teach you multiple ways that you can attack this without like feeling like an idiot. Okay.
Okay.
The reality of wholesaling is if you don't go for that initial no, you're typically going to leave a lot of money on the table and it's going to cause you a lot of pain.
Okay.
So many wholesalers are taught just to get stuff under contract. That's not really wholesaling. That's like co-wholesaling and this thing. If you want to earn like realtor fees, go for it. You get 2 or 3 grand, but honestly, it would be easier just to be a realtor because you're just putting stuff slightly below discount. Remember, I'm going to pull this chart up here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't play in this 10% zone. It doesn't work. That's realtor land. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't get into wholesaling to make $2,000 and $3,000 commissions. Okay. You
Yeah.
need $15,000 to $30,000 paychecks. You got to be up in these ranges. Okay.
Okay.
So by going for no, it allows you to filter the people out that are not serious about doing business with you. By the way, you can refer them to realtors and you can get a commission off of that. So
Okay.
just go for it. But it doesn't mean you have to be okay, I'm not going to use bad words. You don't have to be an idiot like, what's the cheapest price? And you give it to me. No, I pay all cash. That's how I used to do it when I started. Remember, I was mechanical. I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. So we give you,
Mm-hmm.
we teach you the scrunchy face. We give you good cop, bad cop. We give you 3 ways which you can bring any seller down. Remember, the worst thing you can do, the worst feeling getting wholesaling is if you offer a price and you think you're getting a good deal and they put their hand out and shake your hand right there, you just overpaid for the property. Okay. The idea is to get a no without getting kicked out of the house and saving face. It's painful. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable. But by doing that conversation up front, you will be a superstar at the end. I promise you.
Okay. Okay. And it's okay that like if I see some like a house priced at Zillow somewhere, it's okay. I could estimate like $20,000 or $10,000 off the original price, right? It's okay to like
Say it again.
I'm saying like if I find a price on Zillow or something like you said $60,000 for example, It's okay that I could estimate it and talk him down to like $30,000, right? Without
Yeah,
using the
just keep in
formula.
mind, I look at
Yeah.
everything as like, if I'm a cash buyer, what would I pay for that property without all the BS I got to go through with a realtor? Remember, guys, when you deal with smaller properties under like 75K, the
Mm-hmm.
numbers get tighter.
Okay.
Okay, so percentage wise, sometimes it works. So going from 60 to 40, I don't have a calculator in front of me, but that's a sizable discount on a smaller number. You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Once you get below 50, 10,000 off is you're at a 20% discount right off the bat. So be proportionate. It gets a little bit harder when you get in like the smaller numbers.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
you're starting to split hairs. But remember, in the end, Ravon, your cash buyer will always dictate what the true price of that property is. And you need more than one cash buyer to dictate it. Once you deal with 4 or 5, you'll get an average and you'll know if you're in the right area or not. And sometimes you get, like, I've gotten $100,000 premiums and I'm in shock. And sometimes people want it 20, 30 grand less than I paid for it. I go, we screwed up. You have to screw up multiple times to really understand this business. That's why all real estate is local. And that's where you become the expert in wholesaling, marketing, and knowing your market and market knowledge. And you will progress and you will do amazing things with it. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, Ravon. I appreciate it, man. Okay. Jennifer, I'm going to pull you up in a second here. I'm just checking comments. Kalen's got a good question. He says, hey, Rick, when reverse driving for dollars, what do I do if the homeowner comes out? I'm not sure about how that conversation would go because in reverse driving for dollars is with foreclosure leads. So if you guys never heard of this, reverse driving for dollars is taking a lead list, especially in any type of foreclosure situation, where you put a note on the door, say, hey, listen, I got a quick question about your house, a name and a number. The idea is you can be much more efficient about it. And you remember, only a certain percentage are going to call you back anyway. So, and this, if the owner comes out and they are receptive, so one of two ways, they're going to come out and either attack you, or they're going to be like, hey, what's this note about? What information you want to know about my house? Okay. If they're nice and open and receptive, go, listen, that's when I ask them the information. Why not cut out the middleman and just get the information? Go in and just qualify and talk to them if they're receptive to you. The reverse driving for dollars is about efficiency. And number two, if they come out and like attack you, hey, I'm just doing this for my boss. I'm dropping off the message. Yeah, you are your own boss, or your significant other is, and it's not really a lie. You're telling the truth. Why sit there with confrontation if they want to light you up? Just say, listen, I'm just doing my job. I'm just supposed to deliver these notes. That's it. That way they can't attack you. If they want to call the phone number, they can do it there. If they come out and they're receptive, then just engage in that conversation because you're cutting out the middleman. And just say, listen, I'll relay this information to my boss, but like I work with them. I'm used to working with homeowners. Tell me about your situation. So hopefully that helps you out. So, okay. Jennifer, I'm bringing you on now. You there, Jennifer?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Jennifer, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Good. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Georgia,
Oh,
in the middle Georgia here.
How's the summer treating you? Is it hot there?
Oh, it's been hot and muggy a lot. We've had a lot of rain. Unlike Texas, we're nice and wet around here. Everything's pretty and green, but it's been real humid and hot for sure.
It's been hot in here in Florida with like little rain this summer. It's just weird.
Yeah,
Other than
a
yesterday,
lot of weird weather going on for sure.
It's like opposite. So, so what's going on? What can I help you out with?
Yeah, I want to know, can you just give me just a brief list of great places to get cash buyers? Like, what are some of your best resources or recommendations?
The easiest and fastest way is to start in simple Facebook groups. So
Okay.
I would look anywhere in your area. Just look any investor, I don't know what part of Georgia you're in, but just put the city in there and like investors. And then everyone always says, hey, I'm a cash buyer. And you can simply scrape email list and phone numbers. That's free and it's easy. It's not perfect, but it's a source where I've gotten some extremely, extremely valuable buyers. Craigslist used to be valuable. It's not nearly as valuable anymore.
Okay.
The other one is you can go to, if you use list REI through PropStream, You can
Mhm.
search for cash buyers. You can do a 7-day free trial membership and check it out.
I do
And in
have
there,
PropStream. Mhm.
you can sort out by cash buyers, and it'll give you a list. Now, it's somewhat of a paid one. It's not super expensive, but remember, you also get 10,000 leads with it. You got to find if that's a right fit for you or not. It's not a requirement, especially if you're starting out, but it's an easy way. The third way is you can actually go through, if you have a connection with any type of realtors in your town,
Uh-huh.
they can search the MLS by cash buyers in the area that you're prospecting. And it simply is, here's how don't worry about realtors. People are like, oh, I don't want to pay a realtor. Honestly, your cash buyers pay for the realtor. It's always a premium in working with a realtor because they vet your cash buyers. And those are 3 really simple places to get started. Also, go into freewholesaling.com, and I go into like a plethora of more ways that you can do it. But I probably take up about 30 minutes going through each one in detail. But those are like 3 quick ones.
Okay.
But that'll cover 75 to 80% of your buyers. Sometimes you can go in your county property appraiser site, depending how your county's set up, and you can look for properties that have no liens on them, no mortgages.
Mhm.
About half the counties you can do that, but honestly, it's kind of a messy list. It's not for the average person to pull. So that's why we recommend using services like List REI so they can sort that information for you. But if you have a connection with a realtor, they're a huge plus, because if
Okay.
someone's buying on MLS for cash, it means they're used to it and they're much easier to work with. And remember, stop worrying about paying for the realtor. That's usually built in the buyer's premium, and you just add whatever you need to it, and the realtor is super happy and they do all the work for you.
Okay. I appreciate it. I actually do have PropStream now, and I didn't think about that whole
Yeah,
cash
yeah, no,
buyer
it's yeah,
thing. So
use
that's
it.
great.
Yeah, because it's there. So
Okay.
it's but the realtor ones, like, guys, I'm telling you, like, people are like, I don't want to pay a realtor. I'm telling you, they pay for the realtor and then some. Just the average one I get through a realtor, my buyers pay 10 to 12% higher, and I'm only paying that realtor a 2 to 3% commission.
Okay. So
So
two,
if you
three.
look at those,
Okay.
yeah, you got to pay them. Like, why
Right.
would they do it? So
Exactly.
if they make it super easy with you, pay them 3%, give them a bonus. Because if you're getting 10% or more, that's fine. But
Okay.
most buyers that work with a realtor, they don't want any games. They just want to know the property is available and how can I buy it. And you can train your realtor how to work with the assignment of contract, or even doing a double closing, and you can cut the drama out of the seller. I love working with realtors because most realtors that work with cash buyers, they don't want the drama and they have to shield you from it. So unless that realtor gives you drama, it's pretty much a drama-free transaction, and they'll control their client. You never have to touch or talk to the client, and they understand.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
awesome, Jennifer. Okay, let's see here. Da, 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 da. I missed a comment here. Okay. Fernando, you there?
Yeah, Rick, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good, good. Just when you were talking to the previous person, I just got a lead call. So from
You should have just done it live with us.
they just called me and they just
Okay.
called me. So I
So
just
tell me a little bit about it.
nothing. It was just so what I'm doing lately is I'm reverse driving for dollars on probate leads
Okay.
and on foreclosure. Like I'm basically doing it on all my lists.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one I put a few days ago actually. And so they just called me and said, yeah, they're looking to sell this, that, and the other. Just now's not a good time. Can you give me a call back later? I'm like, sure, I'll call you back later.
Okay. Cool,
Yeah.
man.
So
Okay.
well, I actually have a few questions because
Okay.
I need some help. All right, I have it written down here. So right now I have I have 2 really good leads. But I'll tell you about the first one that she really wants to sell, but she's going through probate and she thinks that she can't sell because she's going through the probate process. Now, I'll be honest, I talked to Zach about it, but he said to go to you.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen many of your videos about probate. Earlier today I was, and I understood a little bit better, but I just want to get your feedback right now about, like, if it's still in the probate process, I can still put it under contract, or and like how do I proceed from that from
Okay.
there?
What state are you in, Fernando?
Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, okay. So this is easy.
Okay.
So what's her biggest objection? Repeat it out loud.
That she cannot sell because it's in probate, and if it were not in probate, she would have already sold it.
Okay. So is she the personal representative for the probate?
I'll be honest, she was in a rush, and I couldn't get that much info
Okay.
out of her.
So
Yeah.
the first thing, the number one with all probates, is never attack price on your first conversation.
Okay.
You're wasting your time. Price is actually the easiest part of probate.
Okay.
It's not that it's not significant, but most people attack price and they freak people out. Okay. So
Gotcha.
number one, you want to establish of what her relationship is to that probate. It's important. The
Okay.
person, so we're talking about Florida. By the way, guys, 48 states, really 50 states, but every state has a little bit different terminology. For the most part, about 45% of the U.S. operates under this theory I'm operating on. So you have to define who you're talking to. So I'm just going to give you some basic terms. The PR, which is the personal representative, that's the person who's in charge, who has been appointed to oversee the estate.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
The second one that you want to keep an eye on is the heirs. The heirs are the people that get the benefit. So if there was like 4 children, they split up 25%. And typically the PR is one of the heirs as well. Okay.
Okay.
You want to make sure you focus on the PR because that's the person who has the power to sign the contract. That's the person who's in charge. Everybody else is hearsay. So I used to attack the heirs, a waste of time. Your problem is typically going to be with the attorney. Okay. So what I try to do is have a conversation when they say, well, I can't sell it because it's in probate.
Yep.
And here's simply what I say. Well, Sue, why do you think that? It just shut up. 9 times out of 10, you say, my probate lawyer told me I cannot sell it till the probate's done.
Okay.
It's 100% a complete lie and fabrication. Why? Because it's easier for the lawyer to block everybody out and stay in control of that probate. Okay. Here's how most probates work. A probate is a legal process to wrap up the affairs of a deceased person.
Mm-hmm.
Predominantly, real estate is one of the biggest one, but there's other things. There's stocks, there's bonds, there's checking accounts, there's cars, boats, etc. Okay. The biggest problem for people is typically real estate. Okay. And when someone passes away, people die with mortgages. Remember, you still got to run the electric. You got to do the insurance. You got to plow snow. You've got to mow the lawn. You got to deal with hurricanes in the south. It's a nightmare. Like, so when people get this, like, you kidding me? How long does a probate take? Well, if it was up to a lawyer, it would take 5 years. Okay. I'm not kidding you. Like, I've seen every manipulation by lawyers. I'm not saying all lawyers are bad, but I've seen the worst of lawyers in probates. Okay. So since we're in Florida, I can give you direct guided directions here because I've done this hundreds of times.
Awesome. Okay.
The reality is a probate it encompasses the house. Okay. So you want to find out if how she's titled on the property, who was titled on the property.
Okay.
Okay. Sometimes when you guys know if it's a husband and wife on title, and keep in mind, guys, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just telling you how to work as a wholesaler. Okay. So don't quote me on legal advice. Sometimes properties, they go through different types of probates. So a simple property where there's a husband and wife in there, the lawyer's trying to exclude it outside the probate, and they file for what they call a summary judgment, which basically pulls out of the probate so the other spouse can take clean title and take off the deceased person. Those are a piece of cake and they go lightning fast. 30 to 45 days, I can have the property bought and sold. By the way, most probates are vacant. Is this house vacant, by the way?
I don't believe so because I put a sticky note on it and they called me from that sticky note and it looks like they were leaving the house because they're going to church. So I don't believe so.
Okay. So what you're trying to do is first clarify what her role is. And you also want to clarify that she wants to sell it. I can't tell you how many probates I go through it. Like, yeah, we're going to keep it. I'm like, well, if something changes, please give me a call if you need any help with it. Sometimes it's too big of a project for them. By the way, when the house is motivated, they usually want to make a much quicker decision. Sometimes they're emotionally attached to the house and you just got to give it time. Okay. What you're trying to do is find the motivation is a lot of them go like, I don't want to pay the more. So then you ask some basic questions. You know, if there's a mortgage on the house, by the way, through listrei.com, you can find out a lot of stuff in a click of a button. Okay. Yes. If there's a mortgage, they're usually even much more motivated to get rid of the house because somebody has to pay that mortgage. Yeah. A lot of times, Fernando, they don't pay the mortgage. And guess what? The equity just gets eaten away by the bank. And then the bank usually will hire a lawyer, make it 10 times worse. Okay. So ask as many questions as you can. Honestly, a lot of times these take between 4 and 6 conversations to pull all the information out. While you're doing that, the goal is to build as much rapport with that PR as humanly possible. Okay. I make little friendly suggestions and I take calculated risk because I'm an investor. Okay. If she goes, man, I don't know how I'm going to mow the lawn. I drove by the house and the lawn's like 2 feet high. If she's cooperating me and working with me, I'll go pay someone to mow the lawn. Dude, it goes for $50 will go like forever. Okay. And it's the right thing to do. And you help people out. Okay. A lot of times they'll offer to reimburse you. You can do it like that. I offer to get a key cut. She goes, I don't know how to get a key. Long as you get an email from them with their permission, you can get a locksmith out there and cut a key. Or if you want to change it yourself and you have permission, if you do that, you actually get a lot of control with the property.
Okay.
Okay. The idea is to find out if she wants to sell it, any liens on the property and what she wants to do with it. And she's going to tell you, hey, Fernando, I like everything you say, but my lawyer said I can't do anything till the probate's complete. Well, hey, Mr. Seller, what if I could show you a way where you could sell the property before the probate's complete? That way you don't have to pay the mortgage anymore. We don't have to mow the lawn. You don't have to maintain the utilities, and you don't have to worry about the rest of hurricane season. Is that something we can sit down and talk about? You have to give them incentive to meet with them. You can't give them everything over the phone or you're never going to get anything done unless you have to do it virtually. Okay. Gotcha. Then when you meet with them, let them know they have the power. They have the authorization to enter into a contract to sell the house. And the benefits of working with me is if you enter into a contract with me, I'll be flexible through the probate process, but I'll show you how you can submit an order through your lawyer to the judge to liquidate this asset out of the probate so it's no longer a headache for you. Now, they have to wait to get the money till the probate's over. That's correct. But they don't have to wait to sell the house. That's it. Okay. And you have to do it systematically like that. I want you to go back and watch the replay how I explained it to you. But I love when people present problems. I can't sell the house till the probate's over. Dude, I've entered hundreds of orders. Now, here's the reality. If you can connect with her and build that rapport before that lawyer flexes his muscle and gets in the way, you will have a much easier time. The minute you have to go through the lawyer, I'm going to be honest with you, it sucks because they flex through, we need to get an appraisal. Yeah. I need to review this contract. So if you can beat her with speed and get that contract signed, maybe you mow the lawn for her. Maybe you look out for the house. Maybe you clean up some debris around the house and show you're on her side. That lawyer's done nothing but take money from her. I promise you. Lawyer's going to hate you for it, but they're going to respect you in the end. Okay. Once you have it under contract, you're simply going to tell her, not the lawyer. Ask your lawyer to file for a motion to liquidate the asset. Oh, what are you talking about? Just go to your title company. They'll show you how to do it too. You can do this in the state of Florida and most of the states. Not every state's the same. Don't quote me on this outside the state of Florida. But I'm in Florida. I'm telling you exactly how to do it. I made a killing just by solving this problem, and you can do it too. The key is make sure you leave them enough to go meet with them and don't tell them how to do everything over the phone without you.
Okay.
You're the only guy who's going to make her this offer and solution. Every real estate agent thinks they have to wait till the end. What happens if you wait till the end, Fernando? Think about it.
They beat me to it.
Yeah, you're going to be in line and you're going to be bidding on MLS for that property. So solve a problem, spend a few bucks, help them out. And in that time when she enters in the contract, guess what you can do? You can shop the thing around.
That's
all day long. You can even adjust the price. But if she treats you fairly, you help her out. You're trying to beat that attorney. Attorneys move like slow motion. Everything's 30 to 60 days. Okay. Once she signs that contract with you, now you can push. And then the attorney's either going to fight you, challenge you, but in the end, you'll get what you want, even if it takes you another few months. Okay.
Okay. Okay. And wow, that's a bunch of info. I'll go
It
back.
works. Just go back to the replay. I'm telling you
Well,
guys, I do this every day, every week, every day. Oh, the attorney told me I couldn't sell it. Really? Um, I'm in multiple. I've entered into lawsuits with attorneys to challenge this. I do it all the time. I even give them case studies like, hey, on this day, I can give you cases I've done it with. I do it all the time. The attorneys try to hide these like little motions you can do because they don't want to do it. They want to drag it on as long as possible and be in control. Why? They want the real estate agent. Why? They get a kickback. Why would they also do an appraisal? Because their buddy's an appraiser and they get a $150 kickback on it. It just never stops. I'm not saying all attorneys are like this, but I'm here to tell you your seller just has bad information and you got to be careful because I try not to give them too much. I try to meet with them and tell them and do some and entering in a contract with me. And listen, you can't make a probate go through, but she goes, listen, I don't want to pay the mortgage. I don't want to do anything else. And the best thing to do is sell this thing as fast as possible so you don't have to make any more payments or take care of it. Let me show you how to do it. Well, I was told to listen, in the end, and by the way, you want to use your state approved contracts. You don't want to use a wholesale contract for this because the attorney is going to go nuts on you. I'm just telling you. And you can leave as little of a deposit as you want, like $100, $500, and they're usually very negotiable with you on the price. So the minute the attorney gets involved, he's going to tell her what the least amount they need to take for the property and becomes a nightmare. So go back and watch the rewind on this. I'm telling you, this will work out for you. These are the situations you want to help people out in probate because they only have one side of the story. You're here to tell the other side of the story. And the attorney's not going to like you for it, but in the end, he or she will respect you.
Well, coincidentally, I was going to ask you this a few days ago about this particular case I'm talking about. But today, when I was out and about reverse driving for dollars and all that, I got another one, same situation, but even more motivation, probate and pre-foreclosure. So,
oh my God,
that one's going to be crazy.
You got to move with speed on those because the problem is once they give it to an attorney and they file those pendants, it has a significant, like the attorney's fees get. If you guys ever work foreclosures, you look at these judgments and these amounts, it's crazy.
Well, I actually wanted your feedback on this because what I've been doing a little bit lately is I know how to pull the probates and the list pendants from the clerk, right?
Okay.
Online. What I'm doing is I'm pulling them daily. It's not much. It's like 2 to 5. Sometimes, well, yesterday was like 9, but it's like
it's smart because speed kills.
Yeah, so I'm pulling them daily. And the very next day, I'm going and reverse driving for dollars those properties.
Okay.
So
what do you got it?
Is that good? Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Listen, guys, any type of, especially court list. So we got government list. Now I'm breaking down. You get court list. Any fresh filings, probates. Oh my God. When I first did probates, I was so eager to do them. Like we would go 2 to 3 times a week. Any type of foreclosure. Listen, early bird gets the worm. It works in this one. I'm telling you. Okay. The problem with foreclosures is like, Nick's putting on here, don't touch foreclosures. That's not the attitude you want. Just be the first one to touch the foreclosure, or the last one to touch the foreclosure. Foreclosure is a lot of drama involved in them. You're just trying to find someone that wants to work with you. The reality is most people wait till their house goes to auction. Then they're super motivated with you when there's no equity, nothing left in the house. Yeah. I can't help people out like that. I don't bother. I tell you, if they're within 30 days of sale, unless there's a ton of equity in it, don't bother. Okay. Yeah. Guys, eviction list. If you can catch them fresh, you'll be the first one to have a shot at them. I teach you, I believe, and I have a video that I did recently. I think Zach posted it. I tell you how to reverse search for the best eviction deals before they go on your court list. How do I teach it? I teach it through garage sales. They're really easy. Like even the landlord doesn't even know it's happened because all the stuff's on the corner piled up and they're selling everything. That's a tenant that's moving out at midnight. I did that for 3 years, and I actually did an entire video and spelled it out. So you can search that. I believe it's garage sales shopping, something like that. There's so many ways, but if you guys are going to attack court list, the lazy wholesaler is going to get 6 months worth of leads and think they're super smart. Dude, I tried that. It doesn't work. If we could all do that, we would all do that. Who's ever fresh on that list, I'm here to tell you, they're going to get first crack. And if you can connect with that person, you'll probably do more damage than any other person that's going to contact them.
Yeah.
So,
funny enough, I was watching your probate video earlier, the one that you did a while back, and you said the exact same thing, that you tried to do it in bulk and it just didn't work because speed kills. Okay.
But the problem is, here's the reality on probates. I want everybody to understand this is most people, they try probates. They start, they get super excited, and the energy fades after 30 or 60 days. Why? Because they didn't get a deal right away. And I'm telling you, probates are not a quick fix. So if you plan on being a wholesaler for the long run, think about it. If you can plant a seed and have a conversation and come back and pick up a $30,000 to $50,000 check, would you do it? You do it all day long.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm so successful in probates, because I don't give up. The problem is there's a constant rotation of investors and real estate agents going through probates looking for the quick hit. Yes, guys, we want to make fast cash in wholesaling, and I love it. I've been doing this 20 years. I've waited people out 4 and 5 years before. If you will be patient, you will be rewarded so massively in the long run, because probates typically have the highest profit and the most motivation. They just got to have a problem to get solved, and everybody has a different time frame to solve the problem, and you just have to work with them.
Yeah. Okay. That's exactly right. Exactly.
I did. I'm just like, and guys, I knew nothing about probates. You know what my attitude was when I did probates first? You're gonna laugh about this. I felt like I was in like an ambulance chaser. I was like, I don't want to do that.
That's exactly what you said in the video.
I went back and I decided to just attack probates like a child. And honestly, if you ever want to learn something really good, just dive in and just do it 100%. So I went down to the probate court and I asked the clerk, like, how does this work? How do you file them? How can I get a list of them? How do I find the PR? How do I do this? How do I do that? And after a while, I was like, oh my God. And you find like these little tricks, like in the state of Florida. I'll give you, see, you're good on here. If you pull your evictions, 70% of the evictions will put the landlord's name and phone number on them because they typically like to file them themselves.
Well, I know I know every county is different, but here in Escambia County, I know that on the probate one, it's grantor and grantee. I don't know if the grantee is the PR, right? I don't know. Do you know?
I got to look at the document. I don't want to give bad information out here. But like questions like that, here's what I always tell you is don't assume anything and just take 10, 15 minutes, go down to the probate court and get direct answers, like 100%. So I'm used to that in regards to a deed. I haven't really seen that on the probates, but I don't really touch the probates anymore. So I don't want to give you a lazy answer and give you an incorrect one.
I got you.
Whenever you're in doubt with it, if you can go straight to the source, and this goes with anything in life, it will fix a lot of your problems. So many times we all make like assumptions about stuff, and then we assume it's factual, and you're like, holy crap, he was wrong. I tell you, I've done this so many times in wholesaling. So just go down there, ask questions, and become like their best friend, and they will make your life easier. I used to go 2 to 3 times a week. And then when I had a difficult county, I sent my wife in, like undercover. I go, holy moly, she wouldn't give me any information and you got it all. And I just learned it's like people have different temperatures. They just didn't like me. Like, I get it. I was a bulldog. I tried to run them over, send them in with a sweet lady and a kind attitude, and they just destroyed it. So a lot of times you just have to look at ways to attack the problem, and being a problem solver is all the wholesaler does. Guys, the real estate is nothing more than a side equation of what we do, period. So anything you get on a government list, court list, just keep breaking it down. Like you'll find some states on the eviction list, they're required to put the landlord's phone number on the initial filing. I can
Okay.
rattle off like 10 states that do that. Not every state does it.
I'll have to look into it. I'll definitely have
So,
to look into it.
I love evictions. Either you hit them right up front or, it doesn't work.
I'll
Right?
have to see.
Don't do them 6 months after the fact. It's a waste of time. So
I got you. I'll have to see the video of the garage sale one to really
you
get
got
a
it.
feel for it.
Yeah, got it. Just stick with probates and do it long term. And remember, they just take time. But man, when they pay you, you're like, holy moly, that was worth it. They just take time. And most wholesalers don't want to wait. And don't get me wrong, if you can do short, fast cash and long-term cash, you'll do very well in wholesaling. But so many people just teach to grab the fast cash. And sometimes that's the hardest cash you have to work for in wholesaling.
I got you. And I got one last thing, and I'll let you go.
Okay, shoot.
So how many times should I call my driving for dollars list until I'm eventually like, okay, they're not going to pick up. I'm just going to go put a sticky note on the house. Because I've been doing it just one time, and I feel like I'm doing unnecessary work because maybe they just didn't pick up the one time,
Yeah. Well, here's the deal, dude. You've already paid or put the time in to get the phone number. I would try everyone until they like pick up, or like you just get tired of doing it. I mean, once you have the information, it's like how many times do you want to sit there and pound away at it? But I don't ever throw away that information. Keep it up in a separate file of like do not answers. You can do the sticky notes, and then down the road, what you can do is you can hire a VA to rip through that list, because like we have hundreds of thousands of like numbers like that. We paid for and did it. And then in the beginning, it's easy because you don't really have a lot of leads. In the end, some people just throw it all away, which is a terrible idea. You've already paid for the information. You can use them as SMS campaigns down the road. You can hire a VA for a very cheap amount to rip through those phone calls and just try to get a connection and kind of go from there. But I would always try a minimum of 3 times. Like you got to give it your best try 3 times, period.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you got to do 3, but there comes a point where you become a stalker, and then they will never ever connect with you. So some say 5. Me and Zach kind of found 3 was the sweet spot, but there's no right or wrong answer to that. It's just like, I basically do it until they tell me to take a flying leap. So
yeah, because I use the dialer, so I'm just like dial until it's.
I know. So it's like you'll come up with your own rules, but the idea is you get enough leads, you've done enough deals, you're like, okay, I found after 3, I'm just busting my butt for nothing. And that's what we kind of came up with. But I have friends that do 10 or 12 touches, but they have a huge staff. I don't. I'm not into the big staffs. I'm different.
Gotcha. I gotcha. All right, Rick. Well, I got a few more questions, but I'll ask them on a different time.
Okay. Awesome, man. Okay. Let me know how it works out, Fernando. I'll see you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me see here. Let's see. I missed a question here that I wanted to put up. I missed it. Okay. Let's go back to the lives. I see all the questions. So somebody asked earlier, what's an eviction list? This is just a list when a landlord wants to legally evict their tenants with a court order, and you go to your county courthouse and they file a complaint and show proof that the tenant hasn't paid rent for X amount of months. And then basically the tenant has 20 days to answer, and they typically have to put the money in court. If they don't answer, they get a judgment against them, which is 80% of them. And then once you have that judgment is entered into by a judge, and you can then pay a sheriff's office for you get a writ of possession, and you set an appointment at it, and they go physically stand there and supervise them being kicked out of the process. 9 times out of 10, when it gets to that point, the tenant bails out overnight and trashes the property. But these are great lists because they're very difficult properties, and they usually wind up being trashed. So Rob says here, when is the landlord kicking out a tenant? They have to file at the local courthouse. They should have it listed at the courthouse. So he's correct. So thanks, Rob. I appreciate. So you guys, when you answer questions, it actually helps me out a lot, and I appreciate it. So let me bring on Jay. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. How you doing? Where are you calling from?
I'm doing good. I'm in Oregon. So
Oregon.
Salem, Oregon.
How's the weather there today?
It's awesome. 78 right now. Yeah, it's nice.
I'm gonna click
Really
you off
nice.
here in a minute because I'm boiling in 95 degrees with no shade right now.
I used to
I
live in
tell you,
Florida.
August and September and a little bit of October are the 3 months. I kind of wish I could get out of Florida because it's so hot. So, but
I
I
mean,
thought it was hot in Florida, and then I went to Mexico, and I'm like, okay, I got a wake up call because man,
yeah.
it's super heat over there. Because I went
Right.
over on the Baja on your coast all the way to the southern tip.
Uh-huh.
My God, is that hot? And there's never a cloud in the sky. And I'm just like, I stopped
That's
complaining, and then I'm back here for a week. I'm just like, my God, I would love to be in Oregon, man. What's going
Yeah.
on, man? What can I help you out with?
Honestly, I've been following you guys for a while, and I really don't have that many questions. I've just
Okay,
been trucking along. I
cool.
figured I'd just hop on here. I'm just curious. I guess.
You can ask
Yeah, I
me
really don't.
anything.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I've got a lot going on. That's for sure. I
Okay.
mean, I've got the wholesaling plan set up. I guess a good question would be for my area. We have for our code violations. I think they're through the police station.
Oh,
And
really?
I think I'm just down, yeah, which is really interesting. They have a code violations like office that I went to, but they said they don't deal with any of tracking it, that it's the police station that does.
Okay.
So, honestly, I'm getting to the point where I need to just drive to all these different municipalities. I mean, I've already gotten the fire list. I've gotten the
The
arrest
fire
record
list is a
list.
good one. That's actually one of the harder lists to get. What
Is
else
it?
you got?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I've done the donut thing, man. The thing works. The donuts work. I went in there. I've gave him donuts 3 times.
Yeah.
The first 2 times was from like your standard like Publix.
Yeah.
Well, the other time I brought in from like a really nice donut shop, and man, one lady came over. She was a bigger lady, but she came over and she was like, "I love you. Love these donuts. What can I help you with?" Finally, I got
Have
this
you
code.
guys noticed? I don't know about in your area, but like in Florida, like we have these custom donut shops showing up. Dude, they got donuts like they're putting bacon and like Snicker bars on.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like when you get them, you got to cut them in half like a cake.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like this is how old I am. I go back. I used to go with my dad to get a dozen donuts on like a Sunday morning, and it was
Yeah.
like $2.99. Dude, these donuts, these custom stores are like $5.99 each. It's an insane price, but it's like I'm like bacon and like all this other, like you can't even see the donut. They're so covered and they're like they're
Right.
huge and they're tall. Like sometimes you can get like custom boxes. What's that company like Cinnabon?
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah,
can
yeah.
resist a Cinnabon. And let me
No.
tell you what, guys, do not leave out the old school Krispy Kreme. My God, if you've never been to a Krispy Kreme, when they come out of the oven, you are missing yourself a major, major treat. So
I've ate a
it's
whole
enough of my
box.
donuts. Now I'm thinking
Yeah.
about donuts like nonstop, man. Double chocolate.
Right.
Tell me what you guys'
Yeah.
favorites are, man. I love that stuff, man. Nobody resists donuts. I've never gone, oh, you're going to give me donuts? And I learned that in the business world. We used to go out with sales calls. And dude, I gained probably 25 pounds because you'd eat like 1 or 2 donuts and spread them out in the box. I'm just like oh, and then everyone light up. Oh, here he comes with the donuts. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, the donuts. You get me going on donuts, man.
Dude, I love donuts.
Nobody
my
turns
cheat.
down donuts. I don't care
No.
what you say, man. And now they make those little mini donuts with like the sugar on top. When I was in San Francisco, you guys had them out there. It was amazing. So I'd never been to the West Coast. So it was quite a
Yeah.
treat. I went from Vegas, parts of California, San Francisco, and then I'm going back to San Diego soon. And then I went down the bar. I've never had the time to go out there. So that's why I do wholesaling. So
Right on.
okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions for me, or like you're just trying to see if this guy's for real? Will actually take my
Oh
live call,
no.
right?
No, I believe it. I've been following
Okay.
you guys. I mean, I built a company prior to this that ended up crashing because I was hinging on another company's business, which then that business merged with another one. Sprint and T-Mobile merged, so my company crashed. And it just like destroyed me. So I finally got into wholesaling, and this is where I've been
Yeah.
putting all
You
my time
see.
and effort in. So yeah,
But
figure I jump on.
Jason agrees with me. And then Elevated Next taking care of me at like Donut Rick. So like we're buried with Dunkin' Donuts over here. It's like it's not
Yeah.
my favorite, but it's like
No.
Chris. Like I have to go all the way to North Florida to get like a Krispy Kreme. So if somebody's got any hookups in Florida, but That's the problem, dude, guys. Like, I can't resist donuts, man. You show me a donut, I'm going to town on it, man. It's like I'll take a donut over almost anything, man. You got me all started on donuts. You see how my ADHD kicks in quickly, guys? Like,
Yeah,
if your
it's
teacher
entertaining.
told you that your ADHD was like, you know, you're never going to make it, which is what they all told me. It's like your superpower. But I do the
Yeah.
same thing with wholesaling. But I'm telling you guys, donuts, if you can't get in the door, man, it will open doors you never thought even existed before. I'm telling you, donuts are the trick.
They
Use
told
them.
me I could not get that list. They're like, you cannot have this list. It's not. We don't even have the list. I'm like, I
Yeah.
know you got the list. I can
Yeah.
pull it up on your computer.
Yeah.
And they finally gave me a code. There's like a code you put in which gives you all the probates
Awesome.
for all the counties. So, anyways, yeah, I'll
Okay.
jump off so someone else can get on. But
Okay, well,
appreciate
keep us
chatting with you.
updated. Now you got me thinking about donuts. I'm gonna have to go make a donut run here, and I'm gonna
There you
blame the
go.
first couple LBs on you. Okay, Jay, man, I appreciate it, man.
Right on. Yep. Later.
Okay,
Rick.
I'll see you, man.
Bye.
Okay. Okay, let's try to help as many as we can here. So I'm gonna bring on Jay. Jay, you there?
What's going on, Mr. Rick?
So, dude, Jay takes full advantage, and I love it. So me and Jay have a relationship on these lives. So what can I help you out with? Because I'm wrapping up on time here, so I want to kind of get to the point with you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Last time I talked to him, I was in Mexico, by the way, right?
Yeah, y'all kind of put me on the spot with the asking with the pitch and everything.
Yeah, well, that's you know how my son is. He's he can be spot on. I'm a little bit nicer, but what can I help you out with?
Absolutely. So I got my questions written down here. So like I said, we're going to get straight to the point. I know I mentioned this a couple of times with the land not being owned underneath with mobile homes. The only reason why I keep bringing it up is because it's a common issue that I see around here with people that are posting their mobile homes on the market.
And that's part of identifying your local market. And you guys should notify, once you notice a trend and you figure it out, try to figure out how to become the expert on it. So that's the norm.
Right. And that's why I came back with questions now about that. So I know that it's a common issue with people trying to sell their mobile homes, but not owning the land underneath it. I wanted to know what exactly is the issue with the land not being owned underneath, and what is there a process that we can go about with getting the land owned, or maybe selling the mobile home along with the land as well to a buyer?
Well, typically when the land isn't owned underneath of them, you can look up and see who owns the land. That's step one.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, you're going to find that the land, like usually an individual or a corporation or a large corporation or LLC owns like the entire block. And what they did is they bought the entire block, and then they parceled the land out, and they were designated to be able to put like 1 trailer or 1 double wide on it or 2 trailers. And it's an ingenious system. It's kind of like McDonald's. So have you heard the McDonald's story? Did you ever watch that movie?
I didn't watch the movie, but I
go watch it. My God, dude. By the way, I don't know the name of it. Somebody can put it in the comments here. There's a movie about McDonald's. And if you guys don't know it, I'm going to sum it up for you. Go watch it. It's a great real estate lesson. They got in the business of making burgers. And then as the guy who founded it, Ray Kroc, he came up with this brilliant, he was losing his butt, and he came up with a brilliant a situation to solve the problem. And what he did is he owned the land, and then he made the franchises build the McDonald's building on it. So when you own the land, what do you get? If you own a piece of land, what do you get?
Or you get ownership.
You get control.
Right.
You always get control. Here's a little hint for you. An HOA. Do you know how an HOA controls things?
So pretty much like they buy an entire.
They own the land. They
right,
don't own. They control the land. That's how an HOA can dominate almost anybody, especially in the state of Florida and in the South. Okay. So what Ray Kroc did, he says, like, instead of getting in all the financial capital, is let's just own the land, and we'll give them like 20-year leases, and then we'll renew it and make it go up. I think he did 20-year leases. Now they do like 5-year leases. And the beauty is he doesn't get involved in any of the building. He tells them how they have to build it and everything. And he's got thousands and thousands of pieces of land that he bought for dirt cheap. And he just leases the land to them. Guess what? If the franchise does not cooperate, they take the lease away from them and they get the property they can control and they put another person in there.
Because
so
it's on top of that land.
he or she that controls the land is really in control. So
Right.
think of an investor. They buy the entire block. They go through, they get each one parcel. They spend a little bit of money. They put the utilities in place. And then they either put a trailer on there themselves and then they lease it out, or they let people bring the trailer to them just like McDonald's did. They could hook up to their thing, but you got to pay me $500 a month. And then they increase the lease like every 3 to 5 years. Think about it. No headaches, no nothing. And if they don't pay, they can take the trailer back if it's not movable. Typically, they're not movable once they're hooked up. And that's the problem with it. In Florida, we have huge, giant parks where one owner owns all the land and they individual piece them out and they rent them out. And then people can put their trailer on there. The problem is that rent's always going to keep going up. So if you own the land, you can also put restrictions on it. Most mobile homes that they lease the land out, they restrict you from like subletting them out. So we have a park here. It's like 5 square miles. Every one of them call us. They get on their list. They all get on there by accident. And there's a clause in there. If you sublease it out, they can just take the property away from you. So I can never play in that field. That's why I don't do it. So if somebody owns that land, you have to find out what the restrictions are on the deed, and then usually they have an HOA on top of it, which is going to tell you, you can't rent for more than this. You can't be an investor. You can't be a corporation. That's the reason why I don't play in that ballpark, because if the rules are written and you can't change them, there's nothing you can do to fix it. Now, sometimes you can circumvent it, but like eventually it's going to blow up on you. Like, so if you can play the cash flow game with it and they'll let you like get in the middle, you can, but I don't think you're never going to get a big giant full payday. So there's some of them where you can collect $100 or $200 in the difference on what you sublease it out for, but you can never really sell it. So what's the point? And remember, trailers decrease in value, land increases in value. So that smart landlord like Ray Kroc, the money's in the land, not the trailer.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you understand that? So it's like, so typically you're going to be controlled by an HOA and a very controlling deed restricted community. And they're going to write so many rules in there. And if you violate one of the rules, they just take everything you got and there's nothing you can do with it. So some people lie and they cheat and they play the cash flow game on it, but like a couple $100 here and there, that's not even realtor money, dude. So that's why I try to avoid it. So if you want to do that, just make sure you read all the rules, because a lot of them have restrictions against corporations owning in there because they know investors are going to be corporations. And the other thing is they don't want an investor going in there and buying 80% of the community and controlling it. So makes sense?
Absolutely. Yes. I really wanted to
go watch that McDonald's movie. I'm telling you, it's actually an entertaining movie, and it shows you how real estate makes much more money than like a typical business once they figured it out. Really cool.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that question because I know I kept hearing that if the land wasn't owned underneath, nobody would entertain it. However, I just wanted to know why.
Well, think about it.
It kept bothering me because like I didn't know the answer. That's why I wanted to ask you. But
they want control. Like, think about it. I'm actively looking to do this. If you guys look this up, I'm not promoting. I have no affiliation. I'm not doing it. There's a company out there called Boxable. Our good friend Elon Musk loves their idea because he lived in one of their homes. It's basically a home that you can pop up in a box. It's only 400 square foot. It's about like small house living. But they say if you can get these big tracts of land, we can get you a fully functional, self-sustaining home between $30,000 and $50,000. Okay. I'm actively looking for clumps of land where I can do exactly that. You have to set up the utilities, but you can get between $1,000 and $1,200 a month of rent just doing it on those numbers alone. Like, you can do the math in your head. I need 100 units to make that work. So I need 5 to 10 acres to make that work.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I would write it where I controlled everything. So if I could just take it back and I rent, because if you control the land, you control everything in real estate.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. Now the gears in my head are kind of turning since you mentioned that.
Yeah. Just go and look and see who owns the deed, and like, you'll figure it out real quick. because typically you can look in the county records and they have like hundreds of pages of deeds. These are smart people. They're not stupid. Like,
Right.
now, every now and then you'll find someone that owns 20 or 30. Then go try to negotiate the 20 or 30, not the one, and then you can get control.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All
Remember,
right.
real estate goes up in value, trailers go down. They're just like a car or like an RV.
Got you. 3 questions. I'm gonna let somebody else
Let's
on
go
here.
quick. Let's go.
Real quick. I'm thinking about doing a new list. I want to get my hands on pre-foreclosure lists.
Okay.
I noticed it on PropStream. I don't know, because it's had for PropStream for my market, it has the same amount of pre-foreclosures and the same amount of auctions, like it's 25-25. So I figured that information might be a little bit inaccurate. Do I go to the clerk of court to see if they have a list of pre-foreclosures? Where would I get that from?
Well, remember, everything derives from your county courthouse. So if you want a direct line, that's the best way to get it. And honestly, they have to be transparent on that list. Even though they might make it difficult, it is public record.
Okay.
You can get them through listrei.com or aka PropStream. It's a little bit dated. That's the downside of it. So I would first try at your county level. Most counties now give you online access. If they charge you like $100 fee, it's well worth it because you'll spend more than that in gas and time traveling, in my opinion. So just try always from the county level and then work your way back, because that's going to be the freshest information. I like it through PropStream, but it is a little bit dated. And for that reason, it's kind of like a catch-all. Like, some will hit and some will already been bought and sold by the time you get to them.
Gotcha.
Remember, pre-foreclosure, if you can catch them in the very beginning, you'll usually do the best.
Okay, cool. Got you. And next question. So I want to start locking properties up under contract. Of course, I have that fear of maybe locking it up too high or what have you. I have heard that if you keep backing out of contracts, eventually it can ruin your reputation, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. So like how? I actually, just a better question. When was the last time you backed out of a contract, and how often were you backing out of contracts when you first got started?
I back out of contracts every month. Like,
Okay.
it just, listen, if you're waiting, like, I kind of got to know like Jay, so I can talk to him a little bit personally here. Okay. Just like the first caller I took, you're going to make mistakes. This is not a mistake-free business. Actually,
Right.
you're going to make a ton of mistakes. Okay. Sometimes people don't tell you the absolute truth, and that's a mistake you just get out of. Okay. And it will happen to you. And sometimes you just make a mistake in your calculation because you're a little bit new to the business. Both are okay. The worst thing you do is not write a contract. That's going to be your biggest mistake and your biggest regret. You will make mistakes. This is a moving market. It goes up, it goes down. Repairs aren't what they used to be because the cost to get repairs are so high right now. Like, they're almost double what they used to be. They're coming down. But people have been so busy for the last few years that the repairs have been ramped up. So I'm here to tell you, are you doing this local, Jay, mostly?
Yes.
Okay. So locally, I'm going to give you some numbers. 10 to 15% is the most you're ever going to get on contracts local. If you're getting out more than that, it means you're just overpaying for every property and you're being lazy. Okay. When you do virtual marketing, I'm telling you it's between 30 and 45%. Why? Because you don't know the local market. The only way you learn the local market is by writing deals and finding out what sticks and what doesn't. Guys, keep in mind, if I'm a batter, okay, a good batter, what's the average? A good batter in the major league is what percentage, Jay, you think?
I have no idea. I don't watch baseball.
35%.
35%. Okay.
And I'm not a big baseball guy, but that is a top dog. The greatest one was like 389, or like back in the old days with Babe Ruth, like 40%. So locally, you should be better. Why? Because you're in the local market and you should be more educated with your local market and numbers. Stuff's going to happen in your business. Okay. Sometimes the seller doesn't tell you the truth. Sometimes buyers are a pain in your butt. You have to make some mistakes. Okay.
Gotcha.
So keep in mind, if you wrote 20 contracts, okay, and you got out of 10% of them, you're only getting out of like, what was that, 2? You're going to make mistakes. But remember, Jay, when someone's pushing you on numbers and like they're making it tight and you know the motivation's there, what do you do to compensate for that?
What was your question again? I'm sorry.
If you're if you're entering into a contract and say like they're squeezing you, you know it needs to be $5,000 cheaper, but the house is in disrepair and you can probably get the price down. What are you going to do to create a buffer for you to see if this is going to work? You're going to do a longer inspection time. Sorry, it's too tight. I'll do that. I need a 30-day inspection and I need to come in and just check things out. And then if I'm sitting in a house and it's 85 degrees and they tell me the AC works, why is the AC not on? I know it doesn't work. Okay. If I look up on public records and the roof's 32 years old and they tell me the roof's in good condition, I know I'm going to ask for a $15,000 discount. Okay. And those are going to be my variances. I don't want to enter into contracts knowing I have to get out. I hate it. I hate it, man. But sometimes you got to play the game with people. And honestly, that's how you have to help sellers out. And when you go, listen, dude, the roof's bad, the AC doesn't work. Listen, I just need to get out of the contract. Where do I send the cancellation? And just shut your mouth. You know what they say? Either they say, here, send it here. If that's the case, just move on. Or they go, listen, Jake, can we work something out? I really need to get this thing closed. And those are the ones that are going to fall out. Other than people being dishonest or we find something major like a cracked foundation, those are the only ones I get out of. In a virtual market, it's a whole different world because what you think is a good price, sometimes you don't know. And it typically takes you 2 to 3 months to understand a virtual market to get through it. Okay. So in my local market, maybe 20% when you're starting out, maybe even 25, but that's like, I'm just missing the numbers. The idea is to dial that down to 10 to 15%. In a virtual market, I'm going to be honest with you, it's really bad out there right now. It's over 50, 55%, I would probably say is the national average because everyone's sticking, they're just throwing contracts on the wall and see what hits. And if a cash buyer will pay more, they close it. If they don't, they get out of the contract. I don't like that game. I hate it. But honestly, you're never going to get below 35% or you'll never be successful in virtual marketing. That's my opinion, guys. It doesn't mean it's right. I'm just giving you my feedback. Does it make sense?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
And last question real quick. Last time when you guys were in Mexico and I was discussing about a property that I couldn't find comps on, Zach had asked me what the tax assessed value was of the property. And I did not know the answer, but I figured it out. What does the tax assessed value, how does that help with?
So I'm going to give you the short version answer for this. TAV, tax assessed value, is typically what your county uses to assess taxes on a fair basis for the entire county. Okay. So it should be fairly allocated for each property. Typically, most counties will take an algorithm of the actual value of the house, not even repair value, just what they think the value of it. And they'll usually discount it 20 to 25%. Now, the only reason you use this, it's a starting point. Some counties, that's a good price to buy a house at. And some counties, it's a bad price. You're paying too much for it. In the state of Florida, most of it is 20 to 25% discount of the retail value. I know that why, because I've spent a lot of 20 years in this market and I know what it is. In the state of Florida, if you can buy a house for the tax assessed value, you're usually hitting a home run. Okay. Now, that's general. If I go in some of the softer parts of the markets and some of the inner cities and the rough part, that's the most I would ever pay for a house. What you need to do that is use that as a factor for other houses you're looking at in your market, and it'll give you a good gauge. Remember, tax assessed value is supposed to be a fair way to assess taxes. Okay. Remember, there's outside of that is the property homesteaded. They usually have caps on them and stuff like that. But the tax assessed value they put in, and then they figure what kind of discounts the homeowner gets based on their exemptions. So a lot of times tax assessed value, sometimes if you got nowhere to start, that's a starting point. Okay. And then you go in and try to figure out how they're calculating that number. And honestly, you can call your local property appraiser's site and they'll tell you exactly how they do the calculation. It's pretty interesting. By the way, tax assessed value doesn't mean that's the value of the house. It's just how they assess taxes, and taxes should be fair and proportionate. And by the way, if you ever have an issue with your taxes, you can go and dispute it. I've done this multiple times with my county because they're not always right. Every house has different circumstances.
Gotcha. Okay.
Does that help?
Absolutely. That answers all my questions. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, let me know how that works out and get in there and let me know.
Absolutely. I got you.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Okay. Ryan, I didn't want to leave you hanging. You there? Ryan.
Yeah.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm on the shot clock, man. What can I
Hey,
help you
I
out with?
love that lion behind you. It's awesome. Like, I want to get that.
Okay. Well,
Hey.
I'll have,
Yeah.
actually my son pulled that up, but I got to find out where
Did
he
he?
got it on it, but it's,
Yeah, I've got that one under contract. It's in Tampa. Just
awesome.
so getting all my cash buyers, what do you send them? Like when they're asking if you've got their email.
Okay.
What
So
do you
here's the first thing it is. Try to get your cash. So what kind of time constraint you got?
65 days?
Okay. Well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Here's the best way is people try to do this like quantity thing with cash buyers. I'm here to tell you, that's how you invite problems in your life. So the biggest thing we teach you, you go over to freewholesaling.com, is we teach you how to vet your cash buyers. Okay. And remember, you're not here to make friends with your cash buyers. You're polite and nice to them, but you got plenty of friends. You don't need any more, Ryan. So
Yeah.
you need to vet them. Proof of funds and the price range, the type of properties they buy, and are they in the right area? And you need to, is this property going to be like a landlord type property or a fix and flip, or is it ready to go?
It's ready to go.
Okay. So here's what I'd be looking for if I was you. I'm looking for a guy or gal that's got cash that wants to buy a property, maybe for their son or their daughter or a family member, and they're tired of combing on the MLS. And you can cater your advertising on Facebook, anything else, without putting the address. Hey, I have a property ready to go in the 32919 area code. It's a 321. It's ready to close. I just looking for a qualified cash buyer. Drop me a DM or like leave me a phone number. Phone numbers are the fastest way to vet people. Emails kind of suck. Like they work. They're good for fishing, but like then you got to get like you got to talk to them. And then when you talk to them, if you go over to freewholesaling.com, we teach you how to go through. And remember the importance of your questions. If they can't give you a proof of funds, have a great day. When you give me a proof of funds, give me a call back. That's it. Move on. If they don't give you a proof of funds, they're lying to you. All cash buyers, I buy a ton of properties. I expect people to ask me a POF, or I know they're probably not serious about selling me a property. And you're looking for the guy who just wants to buy 1 or 2 properties a year. If somebody brags about buying 30 or 40 properties a year, do not sell them that house unless they pay you full price. Like you're looking for the person that just is sick and tired of looking. They just need a house now, and they know they're going to pay a little bit of a premium for it. Okay. And that's how I look for them. Proof of funds. And then I make sure. And then the final part is we're going to ask them, are you doing this via assignment of contract?
Okay. Yeah.
Are you going to do an assignment on this one?
Am I?
Yes.
I have it ready. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to ask them, have you ever bought a property doing an assignment of contract, and listen to their answer. If they go, oh yeah, no, I'm familiar with it, you're going to get 3 responses. Hell yes, which typically means they're probably going to be an advanced buyer and they're going to beat you up. The second one's going to say, I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you trying to scam me? And the third one is, I've never heard about that, but if you could explain it to me logically, I might be open to it.
Yeah.
And what I tend to do is have them go to the title company and meet with my title company. Even when in the beginning, I would do it while I'm there and explain to them an assignment of contract. Guys, remember, outside of wholesalers, assignment contract is like a foreign language. It's scary and it's freaky. So having a third party show them how to do it is great, because you got to establish trust, because they think you're going to ask them for a deposit and you're going to rip them off. And what you're going to explain is your deposit goes into escrow with this title company. You're going to get a full title insurance. They're going to ask a million questions. Just have your title company answer it. Okay. Or they can call your title company and just let them know, hey, listen, I got a couple buyers going to ask about an assignment of contract on this property. Can you explain them, and just let them know it's not a scam? Okay. That's it. And then try to get it down to 2 or 3 buyers. And then if you get a lot of activity and it's going the way you want, just say, listen, it's down to 2 people. Just put your best and final offer forward. And whoever gives me the best offer with the best, who can close it quickest gets it. It's not a bidding war. People don't like to hear the word bidding war. I hate it. You tell me it's a bidding war, I'm gone. But just give me your highest price. and close in 2 or 3 weeks, whatever you want to say, and that's it. And then you just leave a deposit, a non-refundable deposit, and you're good to go. And that's it. And if they give you any flack, understanding they're going to get 10 times worse between now and the closing table, and just move on.
All right. Thank
And that's all you do with the cash buyers. They're just, remember, you only need one of them. If they try to beat you up and stuff like that, just put them to the back of the line. And if you can't sell the property, you can come back to them if you can't get any other offers on it.
So the best way, I mean, you're saying Facebook on an ad, and then go solicit some other buyers. Like,
no, it's all free. Just put it up on Facebook investor groups for your Tampa area.
I've already joined. I've joined like, a bunch of them. And then,
Craigslist, you get a lot of scammers. So you might want to have like a burned phone number or like an email form. Craigslist, someone's just a little bit more guarded. Because they're a pain in the butt type of deal. And then keep in mind, you can reach out to cash buyers in the area through PropStream, or you can actually, I would find realtors in the area that have cash buyers looking to buy in that area code. They always pay top dollar. They always pay top dollar.
All right. Yeah. No, I've been getting a lot more appointments and contracts. So I've got the one of the things also I get hesitant about putting something under contract, because like ARV and calculating all that, the range and everything. So, but I actually, just while you're on the call, I've got 2 that I'm meeting with on Monday to put under contract. And I've got an appointment tomorrow with a kind of a probate. It wasn't a probate lead, but his parents died and it's been vacant for a year here in Phoenix, and then a couple in Houston, and that one in Tampa. So.
Yeah. Well, guys, keep in mind,
appreciate your help.
if you ever want to JV with me, I put it in the comment below there. So I'm in Florida, but we do them all over the country. If you guys want to JV with us, and remember, Ryan, listen, sometimes you just got to put offers out there. I just don't want you guys putting out blind offers. You have no idea if it's going to stick. You're just going to throw it out there. That's not fair to sellers. So be responsible about it. You're never going to be perfect. Just like I told Jay, and I'm telling Ryan right now, you're never going to get it perfect. Just like I told Ravon earlier. Sometimes if you're close, put an offer out, see what your cash buyers say, and make a quick decision and an assessment. You will surprise yourself. Just try to get the best price possible and just take the actions I told you. I think you're well on your way.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Let's know how it works out, Ryan. Okay, guys, I appreciate it. Do me a favor. If you guys can jump on and subscribe to my YouTube, Rick Ginn. I'm putting on special content on there. I'm posting it weekly. And I said, me and Zach are dividing up some of our stuff. Some of you guys connect with the old guys. Some connect with my son. Go to his channel, Zach Ginn, on YouTube, Rick Ginn. And you can always find us here on Flip with Rick, where we work together. We provide you guys free information, try to help you out as much as possible. And remember, guys, I want you to be successful in wholesaling. There's no reason you have to pay these giant guru fees. Go out, make your first 100 grand. Go over to freewholesaling.com. Visit me on YouTube, rickginn.com. I'm sorry, Rick Ginn, and my son, Zach Ginn. And I appreciate it, man. This was a fun live. And I will see you on Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Rick Ginn YouTube channel. I'll see you guys. Have a